Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Today we are going to focus on probably the cutest products in our celebration brochure this year. The Jungle Pals stamp set that you can get for free with a $50 purchase during celebration, and the Jungle Pals dies, which you can get for free with a $100 purchase during celebration. So if you want them both, you'll have to spend $150. But the awesome thing about that is that host dollars start at that level. So you will get $15 in host dollars, which is free money you can spend on any other products that you want. So that's kind of a fun little bonus with these. Today we're also going to be pulling in another stamp set. This one is in our mini catalog. It is part of a really fun bundle that we'll be taking a closer look at in a few weeks. But today we're just using the stamp set, Hooray for Surprises. It has a lot of great sentiments that I thought worked well with the Jungle Pals. But you can use any sentiments. This stamp set obviously only comes with the images. So choose sentiments that you would like to use on your cards today. My printer is not working. Usually I print this host code information and have it here at the top. But my printer wasn't working, so I just used my glass mat and wrote it down for you. I will have a shopping link in the description. When I'm done with the video, I will add that. And the shopping link will have this host code attached to it to make it really easy for you if you are shopping this week. If you use that shopping link and you spend at least $40 before tax and shipping, you're going to get the card kit for the 3 cards we make today for free. And if you spend at least $50, you will also get the Loose Daisy Embellishments. Let me show these to you. So these are just tiny little daisies in different sizes, in yellow and white. We're going to be using them on our 3 cards today. If you do not earn them for free, you can substitute any embellishment that you would like. Okay, let's get started. Our first card here is pretty simple. This one uses the cute little sloth and some of the dies. So we're using the leaves are from the dies. There's actually 2 different sizes. I don't know if you can tell, that one is a little bit smaller. And then this tree branch is also a part of the die set. So that is really cool. So let me get all of my pieces here and we'll get started. This one I cut a lot of leaves for, but like I said, since there's 2, you only have to run it half as many times through your die cutting machine. So that is kind of nice. All right, we're starting here with our Coastal Cabana card base. I stuck with some bright colors for my cards today because I think the bright colors are fun and they just fit well with the fun stamp set. Okay, and then I have a piece of pecan pie here that measures 1 by 5.5. And we'll see if I can remember all of my measurements because I did not bring my little notebook in here that has them all written down, but I will do my best. So I'm just going to adhere this onto the side of my card base. Kind of line it up with the edge. And then this piece I cut with the Jungle Pals dies, and I wanted to show you this die for a second. So it is a little bit longer than your card base. So I cut my piece to 5.5, and then I forget how wide it is, but you want it to be wide enough to get those branches. The thing about this die though is it does not cut along this edge. So you want to make sure that you're kind of lining it up with the edge of your paper. So when I did my die cutting, I just kind of lined it up close to the edge and then die cut it. And I had already cut it to 5.5 so that it will fit right on my card. And I'm going to lay this down with some dimensionals. You want to be careful if you put the flat edges of the dimensionals against the side of your tree trunk, they should fit right on there and you won't be able to see them sticking out from the edge at all. Just like that. So take those backings off. And I'm just going to overlap that other pecan pie piece just a little bit. Oh, let's see, is that how yep, I think that is how I have it. Okay. Then we have a bunch of leaves, and I think I'm actually going to do the sloth first, then we'll adhere all the leaves. So I have a piece of crumb cake here that I just cut to size to stamp my sloth. And then this white piece is 3/4 by 3, I believe, for our sentiment. So I'm going to get out my Memento black ink. This is the black you'll want to use especially for the sloth, because we're going to be using our Stampin' Blends markers a little bit with him. And then your Memento will just work a little bit better with that because it is water-based and the Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based. Although with the crumb cake paper, I had a little bit of bleeding on my last one that I colored, so we'll be a little more careful this time. Did you see my video on the glass mat yesterday? It really is nice to stamp on. Usually with my photopolymer stamps, I would get out my foam mat, but with the glass mat, you don't have to. It is a really nice surface for stamping. If you missed that video yesterday, make sure you go back and watch it so you can learn all about it. Okay, I have here my Pecan Pie Stampin' Blends markers. I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm just going to kind of color along the edge, and I'm not going all the way to the edge because I had quite a bit of bleeding of the colors last time, and I think it's just the crumb cake cardstock probably. So I'm not going quite to the edge. Oh, let's see. Maybe that's good. And then we're going to fill in with the light. And I'm just using the tip end because I want to be very careful of the color bleeding. And since we stamped right on the crumb cake, now this little center part of his face is colored even though we didn't color it. So that's kind of a cool tip. We're going to do that on our next card too. We're going to stamp on the colored cardstock and then just add a little bit of detail with the Stampin' Blends markers. This one I'm going to color just about all of it with the marker. But you wouldn't have to. You could just do a little bit of shading and then leave the rest that crumb cake color. And I'm just going over those darker spots again. Every time you do that with your Stampin' Blends marker, it just adds another layer of color. So that's just how I like to think of it. And that's how you get the darker and lighter shades, is you just add more layers of color until you're happy with how it looks. Okay, and then if you want to make his features just a little bit darker, you can either use your black Stampin' Write marker or your black Stampin' Blends marker. I'm just going to color over his nose a little bit and just dot his eyes a little bit so they stand out a little bit more. Hold that closer so you can see it. Oh, if it will focus. There we go. So my color's bleeding a little bit. It's not too bad though. All right, I'm going to get out my die cut machine. And this is one of the nicest parts about the Jungle Pals dies. If you are getting the stamp set, you definitely want to get the dies too, so that you don't have to fussy cut any of these little creatures. I love when Stampin' Up! Does that because it's so fun to cut these out, but it's not always fun to fussy cut them. So the dies make it super simple. The glass mat is also a really nice surface to set your die cutting machine on because it won't slip. Especially the little machine fits on there really well. Okay, there is our little sloth. I'm going to put my die away so I don't lose it. Would you believe my Be Mine stamp set, I still had some of the little pieces on blocks and I set something on top of them and didn't think about it, and I can't find one of my little eyes for my bees now because it's stuck to something. So it's your lesson, always put your things away. Okay, our sloth we're going to add with a few dimensionals. And he's just going to be hanging off of this top branch here. So I'm just going to make his arm look like it's hanging there. And then this gets tucked under there, and that's just going to be flat. Like that. And then we're going to just use our glue to add on the leaves. You could use Stampin' Seal Plus too. Maybe I should do that, because you all know how I feel about the green glue. But this way you have a little bit of wiggle room if you want to move them around. And there is a slight size difference, but it does not really matter which leaves you use, large or small. It's just easier when you're die cutting to run them both at the same time, and then you get more leaves at one time. See if I can do this without getting too much glue all over my fingers. Let's see, right there. All right, while you are watching me glue these leaves on, comment and let me know if this set has been on your wish list or if you already have it, if you're planning to get it. There's only a few weeks left of Celebration. It is hard to believe. We do get an extra day this year because it's a leap year. February 29th, you can still shop Celebration, but then it will be over. And you don't want to be sad that you miss out on these cute stamps and dies. All right, here is our last little leaf. All right, and then we're going to add some of those loose daisies, and these you'll probably want to put on with glue too. So I'm just going to put a few dots of glue for my flowers, and then we'll pick some up with our take your pick tool and add these on. I really think these flowers are super cute with the leaves. And you can add them wherever you want on here. We're just putting some randomly on the leaves. Like that. Oops, that's not the lid for the glue, by the way. Okay. One there, maybe. See, now my fingers are sticky, so it's sticking to my finger instead of to the card. Ah! Okay. There we go. All right, so that is our first card. It is pretty simple, but showcases some of those cool dies in the Jungle Pals die set. Okay, let me close these up so we don't have a spill, and let's bring in our second card. My favorite creature in the stamp set is the alligator, or maybe it's a crocodile. I am not sure. If you know the difference, I know it has to do with her snout, but I can never remember which is which. So if you know if this is an alligator or a crocodile, please tell me in the comments, because I can never remember. But this guy is cute. I used him on my card that I shared earlier this week, and I just think he's so fun. And I don't know, for some reason, he makes me think of Valentine's cards. So I don't know why that is, but you could even add a heart to this one and use it for Valentine's Day if you wanted to. All right, we have a Flirty Flamingo card base for this one. And this designer series paper is the Zoo Crew designer series paper. Now, I would have to say this snout is probably different. So one's a crocodile, one's an alligator. I don't know which is which, but the Zoo Crew designer series paper I think is really fun with this stamp set, because on the back it has all the black and white patterns. And so I think that is something you might want to add on to your order if you're getting the Jungle Pals. I don't know if I said the size. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have 3 strips of Flirty Flamingo. And let's see. You know what? We can use our glass mat to measure. They are 1 by 3 1/4. And we're going to attach these with dimensionals. So I'm going to get those all set up. And then we're actually going to use the glass mat to kind of center them and make sure that we get them centered okay on our card. Oh my, can you hear that? It's super windy outside my house and something just blew over. Sounded like a trash can lid or something. We've been having lots of rain and wind and I don't know. Might rain more today. Okay, so the card base, I'm just going to line up here. And so it's 5 1/2. So 2 3/4. This is about the center. So I'm going to arrange this so that's about centered right there. Just like that. And that is my tip. If you are lining up like 3 things or 5 things in your card, line up the one in the middle first because then you can center the other ones to that one. Does not have to be exactly perfect. Mine probably isn't, I can tell, but pretty close. Okay, and then I have a piece of white. This one is 1 by, let's see, 4 1/4. And I'm using another sentiment from that Hooray for Surprises stamp set. And our black ink again. And this time you want to make sure that you stamp on the right side because the rest of it's going to get kind of covered up by the leaves and the grass and the alligator. Okay, so this is just going to go across here, and I'm just going to lay that down flat with my seal. And it might go over the edges just a little bit on either side, but not too much. Then I've cut a piece of Granny Apple Green, and we're going to stamp our alligator / crocodile on here. And then we're just going to add a little bit of shading with our Granny Apple Green Stampin' Blends. So let's close that up and get it out of the way. Let's see, I only grabbed one of them, dark. I just used dark on this. So what I did was I started with these little texture spots right here. And I'm just coloring over those with my dark Granny Apple Green. The stamped image often gives you a starting place like that. And then I also went in here where there might be little shadows from where his legs are bent. Let's see, I did the little ridges on his back. And then I think I just ended up outlining most of him just to give him a little more dimension. But you could stop at those texture spots and the ridges if you want. You wouldn't necessarily have to go any farther. It's up to you how much or how little you want to do. I think I kind of went along the whole thing for the most part. Up here on his head. Underneath his mouth. Just don't get his teeth. I think I got one of his teeth the first time. Okay, like that. And I don't know. I did a little bit on the top too. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Well, I guess I went along here last time too. You can just do whatever looks good to you. I am not an expert, but there. I think that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to pull out my die to cut him out. Pull back in our die cutting machine. And line him up on there. And all of these dies, I believe, should fit in our mini machine if you don't have the big one. So that's kind of nice. if you are working to get $150 to earn both the stamp set and the dies, and you don't have a die cutting machine yet, you could actually get either one with your $150 order and have some left over. I do like the bigger machine a little bit better, but if you are starting out, the little machine is great, and then you'll have more money to spend on other things too. Okay, then I have cut out the grass from the dies, and this I cut out of Parakeet Party. This is one of our in colors that is going to be retiring in a few months. I loved this set of in colors that is going to be retiring, and I am sad to see them go. Parakeet Party is a fun green. This one won't be so bad because we have Granny Apple Green and Lemon Lime Twist. And those are similar enough, I think. It'll be fine. But I like the Parakeet Party. Okay, then I'm going to add my crocodile alligator in front of the grass with dimensionals. And then the leaves I cut with the dies also. And these are cut out of shaded spruce. And you can just kind of tuck that behind him. And then this one. And then we're going to add a few of these daisies again, just down here in the grass. And I think there's actually 3 sizes of daisies, maybe. At least 2. You can use whichever size you would like. And then the ribbon I used on this is part of a combo pack. It's part of the same suite as this designer series paper, the Zoo Crew. So the ribbon, excuse me, is actually Lemon Lime Twist, but it can work with a lot of our greens, and I just decided it would work well with this card. And then if you get the ribbon combo pack, it also comes with a wider petal pink ribbon. So that would be a fun one to pair with the Jungle Pals also. Let's see. I need to clean my scissors because I've used them on things besides ribbon, and they are a little sticky. And then we'll just add this ribbon with a glue dot right at the corner here. And there's that one. Also cute. Okay. All right, I saved the best for last. This one is my favorite. I like the crocodile the best, but this little toucan's cute, and I love the color combination on this one. So this one I used another one of those in colors that's going to be retiring, Tahitian Tide. It's just such a bright, fun blue. It reminds me a lot of Tempting Turquoise that we had way back when. But now we won't have a color like that, so I'll be a little sad. I like this blue. Okay, we're going to use the Make-A-Wish stamp from the Hooray for Surprises and Tempting Turquoise ink, and we're just going to create our little background. And I forgot to bring in my scrap paper, so we're just going to use the glass mat, and I also didn't bring my cleaning cloth, but I have a tissue here, and that might work just as well. So I'm just stamping at an angle, and a lot of this is going to get covered up, but I'm going to go all the way across. That way it's kind of lined up and looks nice. And you just want to offset it a little bit. Maybe I didn't do too good of a job there, but like I said, most of that's going to get covered up. There we go. Offset that one a little bit. And you're just going to go across the whole thing to make a background for your card. It does not have to be perfectly lined up, but with the photopolymer, I think it helps you to get kind of close. Almost done. Cover up our little boo-boo there where the extra ink got there. Okay, there we go. And I did not do too badly with getting it on my glass mat, but we'll wipe a little so we don't make any messes. Okay, next we have a piece, another piece of that Zoo Crew Designer Series paper. In this one we will adhere with dimensionals. And let's see. I forget the exact measurements on this. Let's check it. So this one looks like it is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. All right, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Yep, that sounds right. It is a good thing I have that glass mat because I forgot to bring my measurements in here today. Okay, then we have a piece of white. This one is 1 1/4 by 4. And we did Make a Wish in the background. So this one is Hope Your Birthday is Wonderful. And I'm using my black ink again. And again, you want to stamp. Oop, I have a smudge there. We'll go to this side. Well, there. We'll go on the right side again because we're going to cover up that left side with some of our leaves and our toucan. So I have a little piece here that we'll use to stamp our toucan. Like that. We'll close this up. And then for him, we're going to use our Pumpkin Pie Blends and Basic Black. Now, I would probably use your dark Basic Black. My dark Basic Black no longer works and I need to get a new set. So I'm using the light Basic Black. You could use a Basic Black, any marker also. So I would probably use the dark if I had it, but I need to order a new set so I can have a new dark one. The light Basic Black is pretty dark anyways, so it works. So I'm just coloring his back feathers black here. And I am using the tip end again because it's kind of a small area and I don't want to go out of the lines. Not a guarantee, but much more likely that I'll stay in the lines with the tip end. And then this little wing over here is black also. Okay, then I have my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to color this part of his beak with the dark. And then I just did this part underneath, dark also. And then we'll get the light. And the rest of it is going to be light, but we'll get his tongue in there too. Like I said, every time you color over it, you add another layer of color. So to make this middle stripe just a little bit different color, I'm just going to go over it a few more times and add a few more layers of color. And then you get kind of a third shade in there. So it's not all one color. All right, and then let's pull in our die cutting machine one more time. And we'll cut out our little toucan here. Some of the other ones wouldn't be so bad to fussy cut. This one, though, would be a little tricky with all the feathers and his little small feet. And so the dies are great for this one. Cut him out. There we go. We'll put this die away so we don't lose him. Okay, I am going to attach this with dimensionals. And I'm just really going to put them on the sides because this middle piece of Designer Series paper is already popped up. That way we won't get too overly bulky. We'll go up just a little. Okay, and then I have two leaves. These I cut out with the Parakeet Party again. And I'm just going to lay them on. Cover up our Should make sure I cover up that blue spot. That's why I was putting it on this side. And then this flower is cut out of Daffodil Delight. That's another one of the dies in the Jungle Pals set. And there's 2 of them, so you can cut out 2 at once. And then the toucan we will add with our dimensionals. Like that. And then we're going to finish off. Oh, I just realized I forgot something on my sloth card. We'll have to go back to that. Excuse me. My kids share their germs with me. And I am feeling a lot better today, but now I have some of the cough. And that's what happened to the kids too. First they had a runny nose and fever, and then they got a cough. That's the stage I'm at. Okay. So there we go. That's that one. And that is my favorite. I realized on the sloth card I forgot to add my twine on the side. So I'm using our In Color jute twine, and I'm using the copper clay, which is not pecan pie, but I think the tones are similar enough that it works. Let's see where I tossed my scissors. Over here under my markers, so I couldn't see them. All right, so I'm just going to tie this along the edge. And we're going to make a bow, so make sure we have enough up there to do that. This is so curly from being wound up. I feel like you could tie a knot and it would just curl and look cute anyway, so you could do that. You could use whatever ribbon or twine you would like. Just regular linen thread or baker's twine would look good there too. So there's that one. All right, let me bring back in all 3 cards so you can see them again today. These were our 3 cards that we made. Don't forget, if you would like the card kit, you can place your order this week now through Tuesday using the host code or the shopping link that I will add in the description of the video. Spend $40 to get the card kit, and if you spend $50, I'll include a pack of these in your kit as well. Don't forget, there's only a few weeks left of Celebration to get all those fun items that you want for free, or to get the Glass Mat Studio in your starter kit. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have a great week. Bye.